Hello and welcome back to Triclaw Gaming, and today I'm going to be going through 5 ways in which Frontier could greatly improve the Lagoon system in Jurassic World Evolution 2. However, before we get into showing off my frankly amateur photo editing skills, don't forget to like the video and comment if you like my ideas, and if you're new to the channel please consider subscribing for more videos from all of us at Triclaw Gaming. Now then, on to the video. The Lagoons in Jurassic World Evolution 2 are a nice addition, however I think we can all agree that they are lacking in some departments. So I've been thinking, how would I improve them if I could? So Frontier, sit up straight, pens out, and get ready to take some notes. Number 1. Improve the creature animations. One of the biggest problems with the Lagoons surrounds the animals for it. Much like the dinosaurs in Jurassic World Evolution 1, the aquatic animals in JWE2 have very few animations. They swim about and they eat. That's about it. What we do need is some unique animations for these animals to have. They need to interact with their environment more and with each other more to feel more realistic. The dinosaurs in Jurassic World Evolution 2 have these now, so I think it would be good for our aquatics to have some as well. But what sorts of animations or behaviours could we see? Something I think that would be a fun addition would be that all the aquatics could show some curiosity towards the viewing galleries when they are in the lowered position. A lot of water-living animals in captivity have been shown to show genuine interest and curiosity towards those on the other side of the glass, even in some cases playing with the people on the other side. I think it would be fun to see our aquatics do something similar, whether it's maybe nudging the glass with their nose or just peering through investigating. Social animations between members of the same species could easily be based on whales or on dolphins, blowing bubbles at each other or sliding against one another. Ichthyosaurs could leap above the surface like dolphins. We could also see some standoffish animations such as Liplorodons or mosasaurs circling around each other trying to bite at flippers or tails in shows of dominance. These sorts of behaviours would certainly spruce up the animals. Another example of behaviour could be the animals sifting sand for stones to weigh themselves down at the bottom of the lagoons. This behaviour has been theorized from the various fossil evidence of plesiosaurs discovered with stones in their stomachs called gastroliths, and it's believed these were used to counteract the buoyancy of the air in their lungs. So that would be a realistic behaviour that we could see put in as well. Finally, we could have some dedicated behaviours that could cause problems for the parks. Our aquatics could damage the lagoon walls causing leaks, or the glass viewing gallery walls if stressed for example, rather than just starving to death for some added gameplay needs. Number 2. Improve how we can see the animals. So here comes my first attempts at green screening. One of the issues with the viewing galleries we have in the game right now is that they're incredibly static and very small. A simple fix might be to give the galleries the option to rise and lower of its own accord based on a timer, but what about some alternatives? One simple additional viewing method could be simply glass walls as a section that we can attach to the outside of the lagoon. The glass wall section could just be taken from the viewing gallery model, so you wouldn't have to make an entirely new model, and it would be able to give us a part to snap on the outside. A more substantial system could be some sort of internal windowed walkthrough, like many aquatic zoos have today. Guests simply walk inside of it, and it's got a series of windows along one part of the enclosure. However, how about something more advanced? In true Blue Peter fashion, here's one I made earlier, from a combination of Subnautica and Jurassic World Evolution 2. A glass walkthrough with a viewing dome. This could be easily snapped on, or no different to any of the other lagoon parts, but it gives a 360-degree viewing range around the dome. It would also make for some great screenshots. In addition, I think it would be good if we had a tour ride that we could have for the lagoons, and something that could connect to multiple lagoons, such as a tunnel, to create a longer ride. Something like a submarine tour or modified monorail system that would work underwater would work here. Just any additional options for viewing our sea monsters would be a good way of sprucing up our exhibits. Number 3. Less carnivorous animals. So the animals that we have are a nice range of size and types, but the main problem is that they're all pretty carnivorous and pretty monstrous. The Mesozoic era had many different types of animal in the seas, and there are some cool other options for things less scary and less monstrous. A good first option would be the giant Cretaceous sea turtle Archelon. While perhaps a little boring, I can imagine that Frontier could easily give it a bit of a monster makeover, like they did with the Elasmosaurus and the Liplorodon. Another animal that would be great to see is the giant fish Leedsichthys. Hailing from the Jurassic, this zeppelin-sized fish would not only be a huge and impressive creature to have in our lagoons, but being a gentle filter feeder would be something that would please the less carnivorous loving guests. One final suggestion could be the small aquatic crocodilian Metriorhynchus. While carnivorous, its small size makes for something that could easily have a more playful nature. I'm sure there are many other animals which we could see added to the lagoons, and not only would that improve the range of animals we have, but also improve the amount of possible behaviours and animations that we could see. Number 4. Allow species to cohabitate. Currently, none of the aquatic species officially get along with one another, with no cohabitation issues at all. I think it would be good if we did have some social aquatics. Plesiosaurus and Ichthyosaurus should really be able to cohabitate, since they lived around the same time in the same oceans in the same parts of the world. The option of having mixed lagoons with no dangers of animal stress whatsoever, and without having to make the lagoon completely oversized, would definitely give us some new options here. And here comes the biggest and probably the largest part of this video. Number 5. Lagoon designing. And again, here comes some mock-ups. The biggest issue with the lagoon system that we have now is that it can not really be designed in any way. Unlike the aviaries or our normal enclosures, we can't add rocks, we can't add vegetation, we can't change the depths. It's all a bit static and a bit unmodifiable. So how could we design the enclosures? Well, I've come up with one way that it could work, and it's based around what they did with the amenity system. The simple way the amenity customization works could be applied to the lagoon. We could have an option for customizing the lagoon space once built, but what would we modify? Well, here's 6 categories just off the top of my head. Number 1. Landscape. This would allow us to alter the general appearance of the side walls and the lagoon floor to represent differing environments. The basic rocky floor we have now could be joined by other options such as soft coastal sand, bigger rock formations and caves, or even perhaps reef formations. We could even see something like volcanic spire-like formations here. Number 2. Planting. This tab would allow players to switch between different types of vegetation options. No vegetation keeps the lagoon as it is, but perhaps we could have some options for a kelp forest or sea grass meadows. We could even have some colourful sea anemones and coral on the reefs. Number 3. Food. So this tab would change what the feeders supply the animal with once you've applied one. As standard, it supplies the tuna fish. However, it would be cool if we instead released a small shark or perhaps some squid to give some variation in feeding. Number 4. Decoration. So an additional layer of decoration to the lagoons might be themed decorations for each era. The Jurassic World era decorations could include an Indominus skeleton or perhaps wreckage from a Jurassic World shop littering the bottom surface. The Jurassic Park era could include some Mayan or Aztec style statues and pillars, and perhaps there could be a standardized one that maybe has a sunken ship, or maybe even some sort of old World War II submarine or something like that. Number 5. Watercolor. Gives the player different choices for watercolor and opacity. Perhaps very clear for Mediterranean-like coastal waters, deep blue for deep water animals, and perhaps a murky green to go along with our kelp forests. And finally, number 6, lighting. Give the player the option to have lighting around their viewing galleries or not, and what color the lighting would be, similar to how we have it with the amenity buildings now. These 6 options could give us a great range for the lagoons, and it would be fairly easy to implement, similar to the amenity building system, and something that could be built on. So these were 5 ways to improve the lagoons. Let me know what you think about my suggestions, and if you have any ideas of your own, do let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to like and comment, and subscribe to Triple Yin Icon if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, and goodbye.